Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm here at Russell Street here in Nassau County, Franklin Square, Long Island, New York. Today I'm here to I'm lawfully, federally, and constitutionally engaging in a constitutionally protected activity that's upholded, protected, and served under the First Amendment. Here, this is in regards to a prior incident, and a criminal incident that happened with the Nassau County Police Department, or should I say Tyranny Department, the Nassau County, the Tyranny Enforcement, the Nassau County Tyranny Enforcement, 5th Precinct. When they came here, they were very anticipated, and I was in part 1 of a previous video that I posted. I was not able to give a full statement because they're always retaliating me without having the right, the power, the authority to do so. Trying to enforce, and always trying to enforce tyranny, exert absolutism, even the false theories that they enforce, the fake theories that they enforce, are tyrannical. So I mean, here they shamelessly, arbitrarily, barbarously, nefariously, unlawfully, criminally, and unconstitutionally, for filming on a public sidewalk, for promoting transparency and accountability, because by state law and by federal law and under our First Amendment, we can hold our government accountable. And these guys, these absolute tyrants and absolute criminals that don't even fit the description of a tyrant, of a shameless psycho, or a criminal, or an absolute criminal, or a tyrant. These guys have gone way above and way past and above all the limits of tyranny, corruption, because that's what they've been. That's what they've been hiding. That's what they've been covering up for. So the police is involved, tyranny enforcement, the Nassau County 5th Precinct, the Nassau County 3rd Precinct, in the NYPD 106th Precinct, 105th Precinct, Nassau County Police, the Hempstead Police Department, that's here in Long Island, Nassau County as well, the 1st Precinct, the 3rd Precinct, the 4th Precinct, the 5th Precinct. I wouldn't say, the 5th Precinct of Nassau County as well. The 4th Precinct is a precinct that I only had one interaction with them, but I don't know why they called a lot of units as well. But yeah, going back to what I was saying here about the Nassau County tyranny, about tyranny enforcement here, about the Nassau County Tyranny Department 5th Precinct. I was very I was a little fearful. I was very they because they're always putting me in bodily harm, bodily injury, fear. So I was fearful, I was frightened, and because of them making all these illegal and criminal threats towards me, and because they've premeditated and coordinated every unlawful, tyrannical, criminal action that they're going to commit, with a minor, because that's what they've been doing. But they're always violating my civil rights, violating my 1st, 4th, and 14th Amendment right. They've already exceeded, surpassed, and gone above every limit, outranging the law, of all the laws that they've already outranged, gone above and broken, going above those limits, making their own tyrannical laws, making their own fake, they always make their fake laws. They make up tyrannical laws, tyrant laws, and they're always enforcing tyranny and exerting absolutism through mental health. So even they've perjured mental health hygiene state law, the New York State mental hygiene law. They violated and broken mental hygiene law. That's not even close. That's not even that's not applicable to my situation or applicable to the law, and that's not even related or not even close to me in any way. So they've perjured, they've violated, reviolated, breached upon and broken mental health laws that don't apply to my situation or don't apply to the law, to cover up for all their unlawful, tyrannical, corrupt, and criminal actions. So, I mean, in this prior incident, in this particular and prior incident and criminal incident that happened with tyranny enforcement, like this isn't the first time or the last time they do this. They're very anticipated. They have everything planned out. I don't know what they have everything premeditated, coordinated, and I don't know what they were intending to do, what they were trying to cover up for, what like when they came here. Even we could see in the previous video that I posted on YouTube, we could see all the anomalies, all the irregularities, all the unlawful, tyrannical, corrupt, and criminal acts. Like two tyrant officers from the Nassau County 5th Precinct were having an interaction with me, and we could see that like their body cameras were off, and they and knowing that they have, like, by state law, by state and federal law, and under the First Amendment that I was exercising, the First Amendment of the United States Constitution grants us the right. It gives us the right, the power, and the authority to hold our government accountable. So these tyrants that came here, that my mom's vehicle was parked right here in this parking spot, right here in front of where this tree is. So when the tyrants came, they were using abuse of discretion, always abusing their power, abusing the authority, and they breaking mental health laws, perjuring, superseding, and breaking mental health laws, to violate my civil rights, constitutional rights, First Amendment right, in auditing, and also in having like freedom of audit, freedom of press, freedom of speech. Like when I was exercising all my freedoms, when I was exercising my rights, they deprive, obstruct, infringe upon, reviolate my First Amendment right, Fourth Amendment right, and 14th Amendment right. These guys, these absolute tyrants and criminals, that even a criminal, a killer, or a criminal, or a psycho has more control of their actions than what these guys did. These animals, criminals, tyrants, violators, trespassers, lawbreakers, criminals of the law, came up to me knowing that I'm autistic, that I'm a minor, to break making their own laws, to break all state laws, federal laws, criminal laws, and constitutional laws, because they're already in violation of the law, that they've already broken all state laws and federal laws and criminal laws and constitutional laws. I mean, they've gone way past, and they've surpassed, superseded, trumped, and gone above all the legal limits and constitutional limits, and even they've gone above all the limits of a psycho and a criminal. So, I mean, when they came here, by law, they know that they chose a job to work as public servants, and these public tyrants, knowing that their legal obligation, that they're by state law, federal law, and under the First Amendment, they have the legal obligation. They have the legal obligation to ID themselves, to identify themselves, because they're public servants, they're public tyrants. And these guys, because they already had everything planned out, I don't know what they were intending to do, what they were trying to cover up for, but can you believe, ladies and gentlemen, corrupting, the truth has already been corrupted, because the police is involved in every, like, it can't be more clear, and there can't be further more evidence that the police is even involved in every conspiracy, in every confabulation against me, and in every incident that's consistently that matches and is evidently, that's consistently and evidently related, jointed, linked, and connected. So these guys are the culprits. They're the criminals. They're the violators, the trespassers, the violators. the lawbreakers of the culprits, and they're guilty, like, of every particular and criminal incident that has happened in the past. And they've even gotten themselves involved in all the conspiracy and all the confabulation that they formed against me, and to have their way. So that's how my mom or other family members or other lawbreakers take illegal advantages, psychological advantages, illegal advantages, and criminal advantages over my situation. Because these guys, like, from when to when have we heard, ladies and gentlemen, that for filing a criminal complaint, for holding a government accountable, for wanting to file a report, for wanting to have accountability, the police is just going to apply mental health laws, that they're going to perjure, reviolate, and break mental health laws, to break all the laws that apply with a minor, like to break all the laws with to break all state, federal, civil, and criminal laws that are applicable to a minor's situation, and that are applicable to the law when it comes to a minor's when it comes to someone's when it comes to when it comes to a minor's safety. So, because in the last video I was not able to give like a full report, I wasn't able to disseminate my experience. I was not able to give a full statement because they were putting me in bodily harm and bodily injury fear, very hostile with me, very aggressive, escalate things upon themselves, escalate things really fast, because they intentionally, conveniently, finely, nefariously, corruptly, unlawfully, barbarously, criminally, and unconstitutionally want to apply mental health laws, trespass and violate mental health laws, to perjure, violate, and break mental health laws, to trespass, violate, and break, reviolate, outrange, outrange, and break all the state laws and all the federal laws that they're in violation of and that they've broken, and all the how can I say this, ladies and gentlemen, all the other in all the other incidents, because they're, thanks to them, a lot of public entities like CPS, ACS, the schools, the hospitals have knowingly made false declarations and false statements, because they're the ones that are always they're the ones that are always obstructing justice. They're favoring other people. They're governing partiality. They're enforcing. They're tyrannizing unlawfully, criminally, and unconstitutionally. They're trying to tyrannize, subordinate, corrupt, like unlawfully, criminally, unconstitutionally. They're trying to tyrannize partiality. They're trying to enforce tyranny. They're obstructing justice and covering up for other public entities like the schools, CPS, all these tyrants that are involved in my situation and in every incident that has happened in the past. And also through mental health, mostly they cover up for all their unlawful, tyrannical, and criminal actions that they've committed. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the incident took place. This is where it occurred. This is the occurrence. Like, this is where the incident took place. This is where everything happened. In front of that tree, I was assaulted there. But before that, a female tyrant here, knowing that her legal obligation was to ID herself, knowing, like, taking an oath to the United States, knowing that she took an oath to the United States Constitution to uphold, to protect, and to serve our rights, to uphold the law, to protect and serve our rights, and to protect and serve justice, and to uphold the Constitution, and uphold our rights, and uphold the law, knowing that it's her legal obligation. She's committed and overcommitted, because as a public servant, to ID herself, to provide, to identify herself. Especially if she's a public tyrant, like she's a public servant, or supposedly she's a public servant, but when she came here, it was all contrary. Like, I could show you guys, like, how they acted. The female tyrant from the Nassau County 5th Precinct, also even exposing a minor. Like, I told her that the police was denying me services, that other, like, I wasn't really specific, but like I was telling her that a lot of government agencies and public entities are denying me services, and she still took the audacity, the courage, and attribution to get in touch, like not like to speak with her other tyrant partner, and the other tyrant that showed up. I asked him what was his name and badge number. He did not ID himself properly, and he did not ID the other lady properly. And the last tyrant that came to the scene, that there was the last tyrant that absoluted, perpetrated, and committed a series. Like, everything this animal and criminal did was out of range and out of control. He perpetrated and committed a series of unlawful, tyrannical, corrupt, and criminal actions. So during these unlawful, criminal, and unconstitutional activities that happened with a minor, I mean, they were using abuse of discretion. When I told the male tyrant officer to identify the other female tyrant, he was like, "Oh, I don't know," and I was like, "You're her partner." And then he said, "I don't know what's the last officer that arrived. I don't know what's his name and badge number." So I mean, it's very like concerning. It even gave me worrisome, because they were involved, and they looked very anticipated. They've been hostile with me. They're very aggressive. They're very their behavior, like, whenever I see all this unlawful, tyrannical, corrupt, and criminal and unconstitutional conduct and behavior, I get shocked, and I feel like I get highly impacted, because I mean, threatening to harm someone, I mean, making illegal and criminal threats to have their way. Wow. I mean, they're much more. I mean, they don't even deserve, they don't even deserve to have the title or the name of a psycho or a criminal. I mean, everything they did that night. I mean, the two tyrant officers that came first, that were anticipated, that planned everything out, that psychotically and corruptly, unlawfully, and unconstitutionally planned everything out, they left. And the last tyrant that was right there, that went where we can see here, that stop sign. He came over here. He pulled over here. He parked right here. When he came up to us, he acted like utterly. We could see all the corruption, all the tyranny. We could observe, and we could analyze, and we can it can't be more clear and more evidence it can't be more clear and more evident, like clearly and evidently we could see how he was anticipated, how he had everything planned out. What we don't know what was he intending to do, because I mean, I don't know what this psycho criminal was planning when he was with the cops, but I already knew that these guys were gonna obstruct justice, and they were gonna plan something out, and they were gonna premeditate and coordinate all these unlawful, tyrannical, absolute corrupt criminal actions, ladies and gentlemen. Knowing that he also had a legal obligation to identify, so he even had a thin blue line in his badge, because that's what these guys think that they're invincible. The thin blue line that they carry, they think that they're invincible, they're untouchable, they have civil immunity. So basically, they have civil immunity, they have criminal immunity. So basically, to sovereign, tyrannize, and absolute all this corruption, tyranny, to support, secure, immunize, support, and cover up for all this, for all the absolutism, tyranny, corruption, tyranny, and unlawful and criminal actions and criminal acts. He called an ambulance, and I told him, that I wasn't able, and like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't able to like give a full statement out, because they're always harassing me unlawfully and criminally. They're always the police is involved in every incident. Tyranny enforcement is involved in every incident. I mean, everyone is responsible for their actions, but in my case, in my situation, even what's been confabulated, they're even involved for what's been linked and connected, for what they've done in first degree. So basically, in first place, like they've committed, like they've outraged, and committed all these unlawful, tyrannical, and criminal actions in first degree that are out of range and out of series with a minor. I mean, first of all, teaming up against me, because these tyrants, they're a bunch of tyrants, and they think that they can get away with everything. I was by myself, and when the animal, psychotic, tyrant, criminal saw that my phone was died because it was out of battery, he quickly assaulted me and altered, and where we could see that tree right over there, he quickly in front of that house, he quickly manipulated, altered, and corrupted his body camera. He altered and corrupted his body camera, ladies and gentlemen. Like, this guy, he didn't care, because he was like, oh yeah, he didn't want to say anything, but he already knew that all his tyrant partners that have been involved in every incident, and that himself, that he's been in violation, and he's broken every state and federal law to affect a minor's mind, character, and well-being. That's why he even corrupted the truth. He was distorting and corrupting the truth, and he was trying to overturn things, counterbalance everything, when I was the one that I was supposed to ask him questions. And when I was trying to hold him accountable just for exercising, just for exercising my First Amendment right, that's protected under federal law, and that's protected under the United States Constitution, and that's also protected by state law, because by law they have to identify themselves. They did not do it. This man broke the executive law. While this criminal incident was taking place inside of the ambulance, while this was occurring, he turned off his body camera, manipulated his body camera, corrupted his body camera, and then what else? He already knew that he already knew that he was gonna get away with everything. He enforced tyranny, and because his partners prepared him for everything he planned out, everything they planned out, they were prepared, they were anticipated, prepared, and they had everything sort of planned out. We could clearly and evidently see what they like. It can't be more clear and more evident what it can't be further evidence, and it can't be more clear what they were consistently how the incident was matching, consistently, how and evidently how everything was jointed, related, connected, how everything was clearly, consistently, and evidently matching, and proving that they're the tyrants and the culprits, the tyrants and the criminals of every incident that has happened. In the last video we could not see other incidents, but we could see when my video cut off, it was because my phone was out of battery. And when these animals, savage beasts, animals, criminals, tyrants, violators, lawbreakers, criminals of the law, saw that my phone was out of battery, they quickly, when the paramedic and the only tyrants that was here, because the first two tyrants when I saw all the anomalies, all the irregularities, all the illegalities and criminalities that they were committing and planning, because we could, like I said, we could evidently and consistently, like, it can't be more clear and more evident, like how they were and what they were planning to commit. Because everything they've done in the past, all the illegal, criminal, tyrannical, corrupt, and criminal actions that they've committed in the past are out of series and out of range, outdegreeing every law, outranging every law, violating and breaking every law, and even intersecting feloniously, nefariously, unlawfully, arbitrarily, barbarously, criminally, and unconstitutionally, intersecting, jointing, and connecting other laws that are not even close applicable to my situation in law. And we can see in the first video, in the previous video that I posted, that this tyrant said that the First Amendment the freedom of speech does not apply to the First Amendment, and that the First Amendment does not apply to law, and that laws don't apply to parents or apply to him. I asked him directly, so laws don't apply to my parents, laws don't apply to tyranny enforcement? He was like, oh yeah, law 120. Can you believe what an animal, what a psycho, what a criminal? And this pathological, blatant tyrant, psycho, criminal, after all the other lies, all the other tyranny, he shamelessly, psychotically, tyrannically, unlawfully, criminally, and unconstitutionally committed all these unlawful, corrupt, evasive, tyrannical, and criminal actions. And he still took the courage and audacity to call EMS for me, when he was the one that was making me feel fearful. He was the one that was trying to He obstructed my civil rights and constitutional rights, all my civil rights, First, Fourth, and 14th Amendment right, depriving my civil rights and constitutional rights, violating my civil rights and constitutional rights, re-violating all my civil and constitutional rights again. Broke the oath that he took, the oath breaker and all lawbreaker and criminal, broke the oath that he took to the United States Constitution, broke every law, and I mean it's more horrible and it's more terrible to contact internal affairs, because it's the same tyranny, it's the same corruption. The fathers of all this tyranny and the fathers of all this corruption, the elite corrupt tyrant members, the tyrant criminal members that work for IAB, that are the fathers of corruption and the fathers of tyranny, that they don't want their they don't want their small, they don't want their angels, I would say, because they think that just because they wear the tyranny enforcement thinks that just because they wear a uniform, they're invisible, they're invincible. They can't be seen. At the same time they're invincible. They have superpowers. They're above the law when no one is above or below the law. And internal affairs is always threatening to call to, like, when I called them, these corrupt tyrants told me a few days ago that I needed to see a doctor, and I said, why? Because is it because you're obstructing your duty? Because you're in violation of my rights and you're in violation of the law? You've broken the law. You don't want to comply with their obligation. You don't want to comply with your duty, with your responsibility or legal obligation. You want to comply with the law. And the internal affairs operator, I told him, you just broke your oath and you just broke the law. He was like, oh, you want me to call EMS? I can do that for you. So basically, they never. Once they start, it never ends. Like, these guys always try to get away with everything. No transparency, no accountability, no liability, no responsibility from the government. I mean, kidnapping a minor in first degree, attempting to commit homicide unlawfully, corruptly, and criminally, nefariously, and criminally committing, premeditating, coordinating, and how they're going to absolute and tyrannize all the unlawful, corrupt, criminal actions through mental health, how they're going to cover up for those actions through mental health. I mean, wow. Breaking mental health laws to nefariously, feloniously, corruptly, unlawfully, and criminally intersect mental health laws that are not related to my situations. These guys perjuring and breaking mental health laws. These guys perjured and broken mental health laws because they're already in violation. They've broken mental health laws to intersect, obstruct, violate, and break and out to outdegree and outrageously outrageously to nefariously, corruptly, unlawfully, and criminally and unconstitutionally break the laws that by law have to be applied for my, based on reality and by law have to be applied to my situation, that have to be applied to my situation and have to be applied to law because they're applicable to my situation and it's also applicable to the law. And they're trying to, with all this unapplication of the law, with all this unenforcement, with all this obstructing justice through mental health, covering up for themselves through mental health, knowingly making inaccurate statements and false declarations to attack me. I'm not supposed to give even them breaking the last tyrant that took me to the hospital. Even broke scientific law because I'm gonna explain how he did it. Through how he violated my privacy, how he was how the police, how tyranny enforcement has divulged and disclosed my personal and private information, breaking HIPAA law, breaking state and federal laws with a minor. I told him if there's no reasonable, articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime, I don't have a I was trying to tell him, I was trying to explain to him. I didn't I wasn't able to say it to him because this guy was had two fellow tyrants, partners that already he had everything he had two tyrants, and when he saw me by myself, I mean before him there were already two tyrants that refused to ID themselves, did not give their name and badge numbers. I mean, very unprofessional, very unethical, very discourteous, and it also turned into something unlawful, criminal, and unconstitutional because that, first of all, I mean, they violated my First Amendment right and they lost their qualified immunity because they have the legal obligation to identify themselves. If something is happening, especially if tyranny enforcement has been reported for many incidents in the past. Just like can you believe, guys, my medical records and my medical information has been disclosed to these public tyrants. But can you believe that all the reports I filed have been drowned? Everything I've reported has been drowned and covered up. So basically, I don't know how they were doing this, what they were trying to do here, but I mean, they battered me when I was inside the ambulance, assaulted me. I mean, he broke executive law, had his body camera off, broke state law, broke federal law. And the two tyrants that were using abusive discretion with the last tyrant that parked right here and that then went up to that tree, and that's where things got more that's when things got more dangerous. I mean, when I was talking to the tyrant, he was parked in front of this right here, where I don't know what's this called. He was parked between these two driveways right here. So I mean, when I when I spoke to the tyrant, I told him that I did not have a legal obligation, and he broke. Like, after breaking one law, through breaking one law, he was breaking the other, breaking other laws. I mean, he said they already have all my personal information. They already have my first name and last name. I mean, because I filed reports against them in the past. I filed complaints, and I've called before to report criminal incidents and unlawful, criminal, and unconstitutional activities and actions that have been committed. Because that's true. I mean, they've been tyrannizing, securing, enforcing, absoluting all these felonies that they've committed, all the crimes and all the felonies that they committed, all the corruption, all the tyranny, all the illegal and all the unlawful, tyrannical, and criminal actions that they've committed through mental health. I mean, can you believe how, like, they're worse than a shameless, psycho criminal, like worse than a shameless, ruthless, psychotic criminal, worse than an absolute tyrant and an absolute criminal. I mean, even the way we could see in the previous video that while I was recording, they were hiding and covering their faces from the camera. I mean, if you're not hiding anything and you have a legal obligation, you're a public servant that took an oath to the United States Constitution. If someone is exercising their First Amendment right and you're not, a tyrant is refusing to ID themselves, that's against the law, and that's a violation of the First Amendment. And that's also a violation of the law, of state law and federal law. Because that's why they took an oath to the United States Constitution, to protect, uphold, and serve the Constitution, to protect and uphold we the people's rights, to protect and uphold the law, and to enforce laws with applicability. So I don't know how they did it, but with all this I mean, a lot of subordination, a lot of corruption, a lot of tyranny. How I saw how they were trying to neutralize everything through mental health. When EMS came, as soon as my phone got out of battery, the animals, criminals that have a position, one that carries handcuffs and a gun, one tyrant that carries handcuffs and gun, in another tyrant that supposedly is supposed to protect us and supposed to that's another first responder, both assaulted me in first degree. Assaulted me, ladies and gentlemen. Used unlawful force, criminal force, making illegal threats, criminal threats, battering me, brutalizing me, using excessive force, unlawful force, criminal force. Wow. I mean, applying full force, unlawfully, nefariously, criminally, and unconstitutionally, because they applied mental health law that's not applied to that's never applied, and that does not apply, that's not applicable to any situation or to any incident or to any law. And even with all the incidents that I've been a victim of, because I'm a victim of felonies and crimes, they've even connected with everything, with how they premeditated and coordinated, and how they've tyrannically and finally committed all these, how they've committed all these unlawful, corrupt, tyrannical and criminal actions through mental health. They even to support all this tyranny, to secure all this tyranny, to cover up for all this tyranny, and to continue perpetrating these illegal and criminal actions. they also use mental health laws, like even for domestic reports. So even let's say if I'm just if I called, like even right now, thank God I haven't been in an emergency, but let's say if I call to report a verbal dispute or a family dispute or a domestic incident, and if it would be something physical after me being harmed and injured, they're going to perjure, violate, and break all laws, and they're going to use mental health to nefariously, unlawfully, criminally, barbarously, unconstitutionally break every single law that has to be applied, and that's applicable and enforceable to my situation and to the law. Can you believe, ladies and gentlemen? And to represent that they're above the law, like their actions speak louder and speak more than 1,000 words. We don't need them to tell us, like technically, corruptly, unlawfully, criminally, unconstitutionally. We already know that that they're trying to prove that they're above, that they're trying to represent that they're above the law, and we can prove evidently and consistently that even everything that's happened in the past with me, like, you guys don't know it, but I mean, evidently and consistently, they can be proven guilty. They can be proven guilty of crime and guilty of violating and breaking the law. I mean, they're the culprits and the criminals of every incident. And I mean, getting back to what I was saying, like when I was trying to from what I was trying to when I was trying to file a DIR, I mean, they know I've never been arrested, I've never been detained, I've never been taken into custody before, and they have my name and my last name in the system, and because I've called to report them before, and I've called to report crimes against them, to report felonies and first degree commitments and that first degree crimes that they've committed. Because if you guys look at it, if you guys look at the law, I'm pretty sure I'm not a lawyer. Like, how can I say this? Like, I'm pretty sure I don't have to be a lawyer. So excuse me, sorry you guys. I don't have to be a lawyer or anything of that nature. I don't have to be a Juris Doctor, a doctorate at law, a professional, a prosecutor, a judge, a lawyer, or anything of that nature or capacity to know that kidnapping a minor, assaulting and kidnapping a minor is a state crime and a federal crime. And after all these state crimes and federal crimes that they've committed, these cowards, shameless, ruthless, absolute tyrants, psychotic tyrants, animals, and criminals, evidently criminals, clearly and evidently a bunch of tyrants and criminals that carry a pistol and that have a badge and carry a pistol, like committing breaking, like in violation and breaking all these penal codes, all these committing state crimes and federal crimes in first degree with a minor through mental health, and with a person that has a condition of ADHD and autism. Can you believe, ladies and gentlemen? So these guys don't, even a criminal or a killer has more dignity than them, because killers are civilians, but the killers that work for tyranny enforcement, the corrupt tyrants and the absolute tyrants and criminals that work for tyranny enforcement, I mean, just because, like I said, they work for tyranny enforcement, I mean, their job is to enforce laws, not to enforce tyranny, and they represent the total opposite of law enforcement. Like, conveniently, when it's convenient for them, they enforce tyranny, and when it's not convenient for them, they want to focus on reality, because they're always in that thin blue line. They're always in that thin blue standard line to affect our credibility. I mean, trying to destabilize a minor's well-being, trying to affect someone's character, conduct, and credibility. That's outraging and outraging, violating, controversing, corrupting, tyrannizing crimes, in violation of the law, broken the law in the past a lot of times. That's what these public tyrants have done. They're not here right now because I haven't called them. But if I would call them to report them, or if I would call to report a corrupt tyrant from IAB, the fathers of tyranny and corruption, because that's what they do. IAB covers up for these people because it's the same corruption, it's the same tyranny. So there's I don't know what step to take, because the tyranny enforcement is involved in every situation, in every complex incident, in every criminal incident, in every action that's been perpetrated and committed, also by public entities like schools, CPS, and all these public agencies, public entities. The police has confabulated, premeditated, and coordinated everything. Like, it can't be more clear or more evident. Like, consistently, there can't be further evidence. Consistently and evidently, everything matches, and everything is consistent and evidently, everything is consistent. Everything matches, and it's evident from what tyranny enforcement has committed, and for what other people have done. All these incidents are related, so it's consistent, and everything matches. So also, before I finish this video, I would also like to give a statement. Just like these tyrants do whatever they want. I'm not like them, because I'm a law-abiding citizen. These guys, by law, they have the legal obligation to be educated on their rights and to have education on the law. They should be educated on the law. That's not optional. That's not an alternative. That's not something that if they want, it can. If they want, it could happen. If they want, they don't have to do it. It's not. Their will does not matter. It doesn't matter, because they're not theory enforcement. They're not favor enforcement, mental enforcement, theory enforcement. They're law enforcement, and they do the total opposite of what their job requires. And they're required by state law and federal law to identify themselves. That's because it's not only required by law. Well, by law, they have the legal obligation to identify themselves, and they never do it. And when I was talking to the tyrant before the incident happened with the EMS and him, while he was inside the police car, while he was inside the vehicle, I told him that my name is Danny. I'm not supposed to give any personal or private information, because I don't have to. That I don't have a legal obligation to do that. And I was like, why are you asking me what's my race? And then when he got to the hospital, after everything he did through mental, he going back to what I was saying, when he perjured and broke medical scientific laws and medical law, knowing that my biological father is not Hispanic, and not knowing my mom's race, he still took the courage, the audacity, and the tribute to say that I'm Hispanic. There's no problem with being from whatever race you are, but they have to it's not about what he says, it's not about what he thinks, it's not about what he wants to do. He can't just make up his own laws to get away with other laws that he's outraging, violating, that he's in violation of, and that he's broken and that he's breaking. He can't do that. That, I mean, can they go? Can they? I mean, can these guys go above reality? Can these guys go above? Can these guys go above any evidence, that any proof or evidence that we the people have, that to hold them to hold them responsible and accountable, to hold them to hold them accountable for their actions? I mean, knowingly making false statements, saying in the hospital, saying that inside the hospital, saying that that I'm Hispanic when I don't, like, that's not my race, that's not my culture, and him altering and changing my race, and he also knowing the police. This is something that they've always done. These criminals, these tyrants and criminals, always have that psycho criminals always have that habit. They always have this psychotic and criminal habit to, like, knowing that my legal name is Danny, they always alter and change my name to Daniel. Can you believe, guys? And just for freedom of speech, just for exercising my First Amendment right to record and film in public accessible areas, for recording on a public sidewalk, I was unlawfully, criminally, and unconstitutionally held inside an ambulance. I was brutalized, I was battered, I was assaulted in first degree, and I was kidnapped in first degree without the tyrant knowing that it's a state, like, to get away with all these state crimes and federal crimes that he committed. I mean, he said this shameless, like, he shamelessly, barbarously, unlawfully, criminally, unconstitutional, just like what he is, a shameless, ruthless, corrupt, absolute tyrant and absolute criminal with no name, without a title, because even a psycho or a criminal has more dignity than the public tyrants that work for tyranny enforcement. So this man, the man that was here, that the tyrant officer that was here during the incident, kidnapped me, committing a state and federal crime, breaking state and federal breaking state laws and federal laws by taking me to the hospital without having legal or parental consent. Because, I mean, just because my mom did not want accountability for the verbal dispute that happened, just because she did not want the incident to be documented, I mean, that doesn't give him the right, the power, or the authority, like, just to, like, cover up for someone else and cover up for himself too, this shameless criminal, corrupt, absolute tyrant, absolute criminal, shamelessly, unlawfully, nefariously, corruptly, criminally, unconstitutionally took me to the hospital under no circumstance, under no influence, without having the right, without having the legal capacity, without having the authority to do so, without having reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime that was committed, or that was present, or that's been committed, without having a warrant, without having without having a judicial order. He still took the courage, the audacity, and the tribute to unlawfully and criminally, corruptly, tyrannically, unlawfully, criminally, and unconstitutionally continue to commit all these crimes and felonies by wearing his badge. I mean, with his badge, with his pistol, breaking his oath to the United States Constitution, breaking the law, in violation of state law and federal law, breaking state laws and federal law, and thinking he can get away with everything through mental health. Wow. It's way past, way more than something psychotic or criminal. I mean, out-degreeing, corrupting, and knowingly making false statements and false declarations, outraging the truth. Also, just like he controversed, violated, just like just like how he controversed, how he's in violation, how he broke the law. Wow, out-degreeing, outraging, tyrannizing, absoluting, all these cover-ups, and in violation of the law, breaking the law, everything done through mental health. Wow, what a coward! Not even a coward. I don't even think that a coward would have the face, the courage, or the audacity to do that. What a coward! What an utter shameless, ruthless scoundrel, corrupt, absolute tyrant and criminal of the law. Wow. Conveniently enforcing tyranny through mental health. Wow. And at the same time obstructing justice through mental health, trying to make me crazy with all this unapplication of the law. Wow. Taking me to the hospital for knowing that he lost his qualified immunity, violating my First Amendment right, kidnapping me in first degree just for filming in a public sidewalk, in a public area, and for wanting to go to the hospital. Wow, how criminal, how psychotic. He exceeded, surpassed, and he went above all the limits. He unlawfully, tyrannical, nefariously, criminally, with all his actions. He went above all the limits of surpassed, exceeded, and went above all the limits of a psycho, a tyrant, and a criminal. Wow. And can you believe, guys, at the same time in real life, this shameless tyrant, corrupt criminal, absolute tyrant, corrupt criminal is still working for tyranny enforcement, breaching my authority. I mean, breaking my parents' authority, violating my authority, breaking my mom's authority, breaking the law through mental health. Wow. Under no circumstance, without having, under no authority, under no influence, without reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime, without probable suspicion, probable cause, nothing. He quickly, this psycho criminal, quickly surpassed and went above all the limits of the laws that he outraged, that he violated, that he surpassed, that he superseded and broke. Of the laws that he outdegreed, and of the laws that he was outdegreeing, and that he was trying to that he broke. So I don't have any words. I mean, it's so inexplicable. This guy had a deep hatred against me. What a deep psycho and criminal. Wow. What a criminal mind, criminal of the law, tyrant and criminal of the law. So I think we're done here. We're done for today. I'll be posting this live. I took this video to I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if I couldn't explain this video in a chronological order, in the order of the events of how it happened. But yeah, that's what happened. Two tyrants that premeditated and coordinated everything. When I saw a lot of suspicious anomaly, when I saw them suspicious, when I saw a lot of anomalies, irregularities, illegalities, and criminalities that were in progress, that were being that were being like like what like and what they were planning. Like we could see the first state law and federal law that they broke, and how they violated my First Amendment right. The first two tyrants that came, a female tyrant from the Nassau County 5th Precinct and a male tyrant from the Nassau County 5th Precinct, refusing to ID themselves. The male tyrant did not give anyone's ID properly. I wasn't even supposed to ask him. Everyone has a legal obligation to identify themselves. He did not identify himself. Unlawfully, criminally, tyrannically, nefariously, and unconstitutionally got away with everything. The last tyrant that was parked right there, that assaulted me, battered me in first degree, and also did everything through mental health, hygiene law that did not apply to my situation or apply to the law, and to break all the laws that are enforceable and applicable to my situation, and the laws that have to be applied based on the situation and based on the incident that occurred, that's occurred with tyranny enforcement, that happened with the verbal dispute that happened, that was the domestic incident that I reported, because I called to report a verbal dispute. I mean, wow. What a bunch of utter psychotic, tyrant criminals of our rights, of the Constitution and the law. So shameless, so psychotic, so criminal. This guy was so unhinged, was so psychotic and criminal that he did not even feel any. He did not even regret, or he didn't even look apologetic from what he was doing. And even if he apologized, the law is the law. The law does not make any exceptions, and these guys don't respect the rule of law. They don't acknowledge anything. They don't respect anything. All I could tell them, like one more time, I could always say this to them: thank you guys for respecting nothing. Like what they were intending to do, I don't know what nefarious, unlawful, or criminal intentions they had before they came here, but they had everything planned out, and they had everything planned out, and they had everything, like, how can I say this, connected. They had everything coordinated, premeditated and coordinated. So, like, even trying to attempting to commit homicide through mental health. Wow. I mean, that's even way above the limit, way past and above all the limits of a psychiatric and a criminal outrage. And there's still these criminals, these other shameless, ruthless, despot, absolute tyrants and criminals are still working for tyranny enforcement. Can you believe, ladies and gentlemen? And internal affairs, because they're at a higher rank. They're the ones they're in charge, and their legal obligations to investigate. Yeah, right. Supposedly, they don't do anything in their capacity, in their jurisdiction, having the legal obligation to investigate, to conduct a legal or criminal investigation, especially when there's misconduct or unlawful or criminal behavior or conduct reported against tyranny enforcement. But can you believe, ladies and gentlemen, making their own absolute laws, making absolute laws, making their own tyrannical rules, making their own tyrant laws, making anti-state, anti-federal, anti-congressional laws through mental health. Wow. And breaking criminal laws through also by using mental health. I mean, that's way like that's at a higher level and a higher degree than assaulting someone in first degree, I would say. I mean, it's how they planned everything. It's the intentions that they had. I mean, it's about how they it's about the law, and it's about how they premeditated and coordinated like every unlawful and criminal attack with a minor that has autism. Wow. Incredible, unbelievable. Am I dreaming? Was this just something that I saw? I mean, was this something that I just imagined? No, ladies and gentlemen, this was not something. This was not something that I thought of. I don't have hallucinations. I don't make things up. These guys were so psychotic, were so criminal that even they were trying to traumatize me, like from like they're so hostile, they're so criminal, so psychotic, so criminal, and everything they do is so unlawful, tyrannical, criminal, and unconstitutional, especially with a minor, that even they were trying to make me crazy. And because they never get a reaction from me, they get more hostile, more aggressive, and more criminal, and continuing to, like, conveniently and finally premeditate, coordinate, and absolute all these unlawful, tyrannical, and criminal, corrupt, and criminal actions that are out of series, out of range, out of control through psychiatry. Wow. When psychiatry is only for people that want to hurt themselves or that want to hurt other people, and there was no circumstance they haven't, without having evidence, without having proof or evidence, they abused their power, abused their authority. Wow. Broke the United States, violated all my constitutional rights that are upheld, protected, and served under the United States Constitution, violated my civil rights, deprived my civil rights, deprived my property, obstructed my civil rights and constitutional rights, obstructed the law, obstructed the laws, all the laws that applied, that were supposed to be applied. I mean, obstructing their duty, their responsibility, obstructing justice through mental health, obstructing everything you can think of, like obstructing my civil rights, obstructing me from recording them, because once my phone got out of battery, that's when things got more and more. That's when they got more high, and that's when they unmasked themselves. But still, I will. I know it's the same corruption, the same tyranny, but I will file a complaint with Internal Affairs, with IAB. I mean, I don't know what's going to be the result, what result I'm going to get, what outcome I'm going to get, because it's the same tyranny and corruption. Like previously, I spoke to an IAB member. I told him that that tyranny enforcement by law has to get educated on the law because of the responsibility and the job they have. He was like, nope, if tyranny enforcement says they don't care about the law, that's not unlawful. Wow. Can you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? Can you believe, guys, how ridiculous, how utterly ridiculous, how utterly psychotic, visibly, clearly and evidently how psychotic, how ridiculous, and how criminal that is? For, like, if a police disregards a minor, if the police breaks the laws with a minor, disregards the law with a minor, and exposing, like, putting a minor in danger, putting a minor at risk is not against the law. And leaving a minor neglected, leaving a minor exposed to danger, if another tyrant officer assaulted you or did something to you, or if something happened at home, if something happened during a domestic incident, nothing can be. Laws cannot be enforced or applied to family members or to any tyranny enforcement officer. Wow. I mean, that's not being particular. That's not being professional. What a bunch of shameless, utter, corrupt tyrants. Crossing all the lines, crossing all the limits, crossing all the borders. Wow. With a minor. In violation of every jurisdiction, breaking every law that they possibly can. Covering up for themselves. Giving themselves civil and criminal immunity and sovereign immunity by taking me to, nefariously, corruptly, unlawfully, and criminally applying mental health laws that don't apply, to commit perjury, and to also to cover up for themselves, and at the same time these pathological liars, psycho tyrants, criminals, trying to give themselves civil immunity and criminal immunity, bullying the law, bullying my rights, bullying the law, breaking the law by taking me to mental health, in violation of the law, in trouble with the law, breaking the law, and not even, and they're very, very calm, not calm, they're very they're very how can I say this? They think they can give a fake image. They think they can be deceptive. They think they can give a fake image, and they're very, very, they're very calm and tranquil, they've never done anything, because they took me to mental health. Wow. And at the same time, they enjoyed having civil immunity and giving them, self-prescribing themselves civil immunity and criminal immunity by breaking all state laws, by violating all my rights, breaking the oaths that they took to the United States Constitution, breaking all state and federal laws, committing state and federal crimes, just by taking me to mental health and planning everything, and what I just reiterated, taking me to mental health. So, I mean, these guys are a disgrace and a dishonor to the badge that they carried, and to the oath that they took to the United States Constitution, to uphold the Constitution, to uphold the law. They're a disgrace. I mean, I was conducting legal business here, lawful, federal, and constitutional, protected and served business here. I was conducting lawful business and constitutional, and federal and constitutional business, because I was lawfully demanding my rights, and I was exercising my First Amendment right. And just for exercising my First Amendment right and exposing and publishing their tyranny, subordination, corruption, and by trying to put them, just for putting them into evidence, kidnapping me in first degree and assaulting me in first degree, and waited until my phone took advantages over me when they saw that my phone was out of battery, corrupted his body camera. The tyrant corrupted his body camera, turned his body camera off. Wow. These psychos are worse than a savage beast and animal. Wow, these psychotic, in criminal minds, these psychos, animals, and criminals don't have any awareness, don't have the capacity, or they're not capable of controlling their own actions. Wow, they can't control themselves. They just can't hold it. They only think that they're powerful with that uniform that they have. But if they wouldn't have a gun, if they wouldn't have a belt or a gun on their hip, if they wouldn't carry a badge, if they wouldn't be supposedly, if they wouldn't be law enforcement, these cowards, shameless, ruthless tyrants, psychotic criminals would run away. Even they felt like the makers and the builders of that prepared all this during this incident. What they did was so shameful, harmful, unlawful, barbarous, criminal, and unconstitutional that they didn't even have the face. They like, knowing that it's their legal obligation, they didn't even want to identify themselves, knowing that it's mandated and required by state law and federal law, knowing it's their, by law they have the legal obligation to identify themselves. They did not want to identify themselves, ladies and gentlemen. I hope someone can see this video live. I hope this can get posted, and I hope I hope one day I could become a professional and I could help others, because it's all about helping each other. We the people can't go against each other, because these tyrants have a lot of, like, they're a black army. These dark forces and elite forces, whenever they always try to kill you, because they're a bunch of tyrants, assassins, murderers, and criminals that are not educated on the law, that are not educated on our rights, but they have a full education when it comes to accuracy and precision of pressing a pistol. When it comes to carrying a gun to kill, supposedly to protect us, but they use it. They abuse their power, they abuse their authority, and when it comes to carrying a gun or a pistol, a taser, they're very animated. They're very anticipated. Like they're very professional, but not professional in carrying their gun and taser to protect us. Professional because and having accuracy and precision when it comes to, like, I wouldn't even say professional. They're very they're highly trained when it comes to being homicidal towards other people. When it comes to committing homicide in first degree or second degree or third degree, or whatever the situation, the circumstance, or the cases, they're highly trained, highly trained when it comes to pressing a gun and a pistol or a taser. But when it comes to the law, wow, they're below zero. They don't know anything about the law. Obviously and evidently, we can prove that they're guilty of crime. They're guilty of breaking the law. They're a bunch of culprits and tyrants and criminals of breaking the law, and they don't know anything about our rights or anything about the law. So that's all for today. I want anyone can stay tuned. I mean, in the comment sections below, I want people to opine and tell me, like, what they think about this video, what they observed. I mean, I want anyone to, like, how could I say this, like, leave something on the comment sections below. And I mean, it's all about transparency, accountability, and the law. I mean, it's all about the rule of law. It's transparency and accountability. Like, the same process of law applies to everyone. The same laws apply to everyone. No one has more privileges, more immunities, or more protection than anyone. we all have equal protection under the law, and no one is above the law. So I'm done for today. Thanks guys for, if you guys want to hear this video, thanks a lot, and stay tuned and for another video that I'm going to post or publish. Thank you.